All right, so Tick, God, Ween, Satan. Thankfully, there's no wacky tuning, tape speed stuff going on as far as I'm aware. It's just straight ahead E standard. Don't need any crazy effects on your guitar, although if you want to utilize like a chorus effect during the solo and stuff, that would be advised if you want to be real specific about the tone. But it's pretty much just a straight ahead rocker, right? So there's a couple of guitar harmonies really, but they're basically just super basic stuff, and you can even play them by yourself if you wanted. But let's just get right into the main riff. So it's now on the album it's really simple. It's just right, and that just goes for all of them. But it's really easy to just add in the lower octave there. So it's just, you know, we're on the 7th of the A, right? So just those 3 notes, right? But it's da 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 da. And you want to make that first note staccato, so, you know, mute it real quick. And then you hold the rest of them, right? So, all right, and that just goes, that pattern goes for the other parts of the riff, but, you know, it's just. And then we move up here. So after. So moving up 2 frets. Now we're on the D on this fret. So that's what it'll sound like. So in motion, it's. All right. So. And then we go. All right. So just full step there. And then you just bring it back down kind of slowly. So like that. Sorry, I didn't get into it, but and then we go into, well, first you can, I think Diener does this live, or at least I just love to do it because it's just so satisfying to do. But basically, to add in the lower note, to the lower octave of each of those, it's right? I'm just sort of exaggerating to show where that is, but I like to kind of palm mute that low E. I mean, you can hear what part of the riff it fits in, right? So it's the pause, right? You know, right there. It's dun dun, but you know, I like to throw in. For there, it's the same thing, except you can throw in either the B on the with your thumb on the E string on that 7th fret, or if you don't want to do that, I like to throw in the open A from time to time. You know, it gives it that kind of cool 9th feel. So like, so instead of just the octave, just that, it gives it a cool feeling, right? Anyway. So that's what I like to do for that, but you don't have to do that. But anyway, we get into the pre-chorus, which is. All right, so that's just chromatic on the 9th, 8th, and 7th on the G, and then we end that twice on the 9th, and then we go down 1 string on the D. While that other part is playing, so and you can just play both of those at the same time. If you're doing this by yourself, you can just obviously you can just put your finger on both of those. But you know, if you've got 2 guitar players, maybe you just like the sound of it. One person going, and the other person. But you know, I like to start it off as, and then halfway through, I just think it sounds cool. Also, I forgot to mention during the that there's an octave up on that one. Just that part of the riff, there's an octave higher. So that's just. Right? So that's just on the G on the 9th and 7th. and the D. And then you just move. They're both playing the same thing here. There's no octave there. But so after we get in that pre-chorus, then we get into the chorus, which is just this is just chords basically. G and then D, and then we got E. And I think live sometimes he likes to kind of hold that E chord, although on the recording it's definitely there's a lot of fills going on. But basically, if you just want to play the chords, it's just G, D, and E. In fact, I think he's doing a pretty straight rhythm. I like to do that sort of quick little strum. But I think on the album it's just going. And from what I can tell on live, he's pretty much doing that. But he throws in one of two fills, which are basically the same fill, just an octave apart. So, right? So that's just. Right? Half step bend there and then come back down, and then the other fill he does is, which is basically the same thing, just 2 on the D, then open G to 2D to G, open G to 2G, and then doing a little bend. And then we end that by doing this little suspension on a D, which is just, and then the same on the A, only it's on the B string. All right. I mean, you could also do it like that with your pinky and have that open E string, but I think he's just going. I think he's just doing it like that, like the AC/DC A, where you're muting your high E. And then we got another verse. And then the chorus, and then after the second chorus, I think there might be a couple different parts going on, but basically it's all just holding an E chord, E minor, or an E power chord if you want. So first he just holds that, and then I think I hear this this seventh in here. I hear that note in there, so I like to start it as holding an E minor chord, so. And then do which is just a little low E, 7A, 6D, and then 7G, the little cluster, and then muting the B and E. I'm not sure if he's doing that, but it sounds close enough to the album that I'm okay with doing that. So again, you could just do an E if you want. And then we have now, getting the timing on this is kind of tough because you want to. The lick is. You could also play this open, but I'm pretty sure he's doing it on the 5th and 7th on the D here. So you're going. So that's. So picking and then pulling and then bending up and then back down. And then pulling off to the 5th. And then down there. So. And then doing that little hook there. I think he's actually doing like close to a whole step bend on those first parts. So, and then doing the little hook. And then I think that's definitely closer to a half step bend than a whole step on that little. Right? So. Alright, so that's just that for a couple times. And then we do that suspension thing again. And then there's a couple different licks going on here. First, he plays this, which is it's kind of it's a neat lick, but it's very chaotic and hectic. It's basically going kind of like what he does in Sketches of Winkle a little bit. something like that, but he's basically going. So starting off on the 12 of the E, this is all in the low E. Right, so just dun chicka dun chicka dun chicka dun. You could palm mute the E open if you want or not, but I think he's just going just sort of letting it ring. So, and he's kind of doing something weird there, where it's 12, 11, 10, 9, and then he's kind of bending it slightly, and then that might just be because he's pulling it off. So. Do not. And he just keeps doing that. He does that 4 times. And then while he's doing that, he does that once. And then the next 3 times, another guitar plays this. Something similar to that. He's definitely starting on this note, on the B string, because I think the last note he kind of plays is an open B. So 5 of the B. And you're basically just like, you're basically trim picking this. He starts on that for a little bit, just that note. He could be doing this with 1 finger. I like to do it with a couple fingers, so that I can be a little bit more accurate about climbing down. So. Right, so. Right, so that's the kind of pattern you want to go with. Right, basically, and then we get into this riff one more time. And then on the album, you can hear him go. You can hear him slide up here on that last time. So after that, he goes. Something like that, right? So this is 14 on the A. We're sliding up to. So that's the first lick. And then he's gonna play. We're on the D now, 14 to 12 to 14 on the A. And then he's gonna kind of fool around on the bending on the 14 of the D. You want to kind of pinch that as you go along, as you're kind of bending it. That's what the kind of vibe. All right, so. All right, and then he's gonna go 14 to 16 on the G, and then 15 on the B. Play that G on the 16th twice. So hammer on and then pick it. And then he's going to do this. Kind of similar to what he did with... he's going to... I'm kind of pinching it while you're doing it, so... Alright, so... do a full step bend, and then he does a full step on the 15 of the E. He kind of does that, and then he does the same thing on the B, and then he throws in the bundle of open strings, some noise, and then it's probably just as a mistake or a little, just to end of the song, you can definitely hear this note ringing out. A little fourth on the B string. Alright, so... You can also do that up here on the G. I don't know, to me it sounds funnier if you play it on the B. Alright, so that's the song. Hope you had a good time learning it. I had a good time teaching it. It's a fun track. It's fun to play, and I hope you have a nice day. That rhymed. Goodbye.